So, ladies and gentlemen, we have the honor today to be joined by Pujya Swami Chidanand Saraswati Ji. Welcome. We have a double blessing today that Jain holy man Lokesh Muni Ji is joining us. And moderating our time with Pujya Swami Ji is Sadhvi Bhagavati Saraswati Ji. Be seated, please.
It's an absolute pleasure to be here today with you all. When Bob and Judith had come to the ashram last year, since then we have been trying to bring Pujya Swamiji here to Chicago to be able to speak to all of their trainees, students, friends, associates, colleagues. So finally on this trip, it was able to be possible. It's an absolute wonderful joy to be able to be here. The theme for tonight. Then I can turn my head a little more free. The theme for tonight is renew and rejoice, and the inner freedom and inner independence that we all have and how to find it. What is it within us that needs to be renewed? We talk about renewal, we talk about rejuvenation. What is it within us that needs to be renewed? It's certainly not our bodies. The cells of our bodies are constantly renewing themselves over a period of days, weeks, months, sometimes years. Every single cell of our body is regenerating and renewing. In a period of 6 or 7 years, every cell of our being has regenerated. And yet, tragically, we blame so much of the problems that we face today, the obstacles that we face in our lives, on that which happened in the past. On times we were abused, we were betrayed, we were abandoned, we were cheated, we were lied to. And we use those past stories as excuses and reasons for where we're stuck today, for what's affecting us today. And yet, with the rate of cell renewal as it is, there is not one cell in our bodies today that was ever betrayed, that was ever lied to, that was ever cheated, that was ever abused or abandoned or insulted. So where is that I? Where is that me who's a victim of my past? She doesn't exist. She's no longer here. It's just patterns of energy in our brains that we hold on to. Habits of patterns of this energy that tell us, I'm a victim, I'm worthless, I'm useless, I always get the short end of the stick. Whatever our story is, it's just a pattern of energy in the brain. And the question then becomes, well, can the brain be changed? Can the brain be renewed? 15 years ago, 18 years ago, when I began my PhD in neurology, they believed that the brain couldn't be changed. That once it had myelinized in late adolescence, we were through. All that was left to us later on were medicines or operations or a lifetime of dealing with depression, anxiety, whatever. And yet, in the last 15, 20 years, research has shown that it's the exact opposite. The brain is constantly changing itself. If I tape these two fingers together for a week, my brain will change accordingly. If I'm used to wearing shoes and I go barefoot for a week, so the bottoms of my feet are suddenly getting all kinds of new sensations, my brain will change accordingly. If I'm right-handed and I spend a week doing everything with my left hand, my brain will change accordingly. So we can change it. We can change these patterns of energy, these habits of the way that our brain works. But we have to want to. We have to have the courage to step into that newness. There's a wonderful story of an office, a company, in which one day all of the employees of the company show up at their desks to find a memo that says, the person who was hindering your progress in this company has passed away. The funeral is at noon today. Please come to the conference room. So everybody sees the memo, of course not realizing that everyone else has gotten the same memo, and is filled with first sadness that one of their co-workers has passed away, and then with a slight relief that, well, it's really sad that he or she died, but glad to know that whoever it is that was hindering my progress is no longer here. And then a little bit of confusion. I wonder who it was. I wonder who's the one who was holding me back. And at noon of that day, all of the office workers file into the conference room. And at the front of the room, surrounded by flowers, is an open coffin. And each of them file up to the open coffin, full of sadness and full of wonder at who is it lying in this coffin that now the divine plan has removed from my path. And as each of them bends to look inside the coffin, what they see is a mirror. And next to the mirror is a note that says, you are the only one who can hold you back. So, we don't need to be renewed from the outside. It's certainly nice to have hot oil rubbed onto our limbs and massaged and wrapped up in mud or all kinds of, spa treatments feels good, but that's not what renews us. We don't need services, other people, external things to renew us. God, the universe, the laws of nature have already done that. We are new. We're barely 6 or 7 years old if you look at every cell of our body. All that's left is the awareness of that leads us to the rejoicing, and that leads us to the awareness of that inner freedom that we all have. We only can rejoice when we fully realize that the center of whatever we need is already within us. We can enjoy the outside world. We can enjoy a nice movie, a new pair of shoes, the smoothness of a new car going from 0 to 60 in a couple of seconds. We can enjoy the sand on a beach. But if we want more than enjoyment, if we want real joy, if we want to be able to rejoice truly, deeply, it has to come from within. The good news is that it's within us. We have it. The bad news is that we are victims of a culture that tell us it's outside of you. Just go here, go there, buy this, acquire that. And then you'll be happy. Then you'll be peaceful. Look at our advertising. If I want to sell, for example, soap, what does soap do? It cleans us. So an honest advertisement for soap would say, this brand of soap cleans you better than that brand of soap. But they never say that. Instead, we have a beautiful woman and she's singing in the shower as she lathers up in the morning, and her husband, equally beautiful, walks into the bathroom and he's also singing. And after their shower, they walk out and miraculously their child has already gotten himself out of bed, bathed, dressed, eaten his Wheaties, finished his homework, and is standing by the front door, lunchbox in hand, smile on his face, ready to go to school. We're not selling soap. We're selling happiness. We're selling joy. We're selling peace. As though somehow, if you have to drag your kid out of bed in the morning, if you don't feel like singing at 6 o'clock when you're taking your shower, the problem is your brand of soap. We laugh, and yet advertising is a billion-dollar industry. It works. So we go around changing our brand of soap, changing our brand of dishwashing liquid, changing our brand of jeans and mobile phones and cars, looking for that center of joy, that center of peace. But it's within us. The self, the divine self, the true self, is looking to expand. What Indian culture says is that the self is boundless, infinite, part of the universe, has no boundaries, no borders, no limits. And yet then we stick it into this finite body. And so it's frustrating. And what it's trying to do is regain its sense of boundlessness, limitlessness. Look at all of the words that we use to describe deep joy, bliss, deep love. We use words like swimming, melting, sinking, merging. We talk about bathing in oceans and volcanoes. They're words of expansion, words of breaking free from the limitness, the finiteness of our existence. And yet, tragically, unconsciously, we go about trying to find that in our lives by thinking, well, if I just stick enough on top of me, if I purchase enough, if I get enough degrees and titles and possessions, if I somehow can make myself bigger in that way, then I'm expanding. And yet it doesn't work like that. And the tragedy is then we end up suffocating ourselves. So we become more and more frustrated. And yet, the good news is that everything we need, everything we're looking for, is within us, is already there. That source of joy and peace and divinity is already there. There's a wonderful story of a temple in Thailand where they've been worshiping for hundreds of years this clay Buddha. And one day the monks are cleaning this clay Buddha and they see something shining and glimmering within it. And so slowly they start cleaning it a little more to see what is it that's shining and glistening from within. And slowly, slowly they realize that within this clay Buddha was actually a golden Buddha. But that centuries ago, when the invaders had come, the monks in the temple where they worshipped the golden Buddha had been afraid that the invaders would take the gold, melt it down, loot it, destroy it. So they'd covered it with clay. The Buddha was saved, but the monks were killed. So nobody who knew that it was a golden Buddha still survived. And so for hundreds of years they've been worshiping this clay Buddha. And the same is true in our lives. We're looking to figure out ways to make ourselves golden, to renew ourselves, to find reasons to rejoice. And yet that gold is within us. The only problem is that we've dumped this clay on top of us. Our egos, our attachments, our grudges, our pain, our identification with the past, that's what's holding us back. So renewal is not about somehow becoming golden. It's not about turning dirt to gold. It's about removing the clay. And all that takes is the awareness and the willingness to shed those chains of the past. We hold on to them. Tragically, it doesn't make any sense because it's what's holding us back. It's painful. And yet we hold on to them because we identify with it. It's safe. It may be painful. It may be imprisoning. But it's safe. It's me. I know it. There are huge studies about rates of recidivism in people who get out of jail. You have these people who were in jail for 20, 25 years, and they finally get out. And then they go out and they commit some tiny little petty, stupid crime that winds them up back in jail. And when they're asked, why did you do it? What you find is that the majority of them say, it was too scary on the outside. They'd rather be in jail because it's safe than know what to do with their freedom. So we don't want to live our lives like imprisoned criminals. Yes, it's safer in jail. but we don't want to live in jail. So we have to have that courage to step into the newness, to step into that freedom. Lastly, I don't know how many of you have ever driven on one of these roads. I don't know about in Illinois, but in California there's lots and lots of a bird called the quail. And as you're driving down the road, particularly in the country, you'll come upon these packs of quails walking in the road. And what's funny about the quail is that she's a bird. She can fly, she has wings. And yet they spend most of their lives waddling on the ground. And if you're driving in a car behind them, they're like the cows in India. The difference is that the cows don't have wings. They have to waddle. The quails have wings, they're birds. And yet they waddle on the ground, and you're in this car coming upon them. You honk the horn and they waddle faster and faster and faster. And just before the front bumper of the car actually hits one of the quails, suddenly one of them, as though hit by this divine inspiration, will flap its wings and fly. And as that one flaps and flies into the sky, suddenly the rest of them seem to look at each other and think, oh, well, if she can do it, we can do it. And at the last possible minute, literally before the car runs them over, they flap their wings and fly into the sky. And you think, at least the non-spiritual side of us thinks, you stupid birds. You've got wings. Why are you waddling on the ground waiting until you're run over to realize that you can fly? And that's how most of us live our lives. We've been given the ability to soar, to fly, to reach amazing and incredible heights. And yet the vast majority of us seem willing to just spend our lives waddling around. Until and unless, of course, our lives depend upon it. And if we can take a vow before we leave this beautiful center in nature, the vow should be not to wait until our lives depend upon it, because today depends upon it. Tomorrow depends upon it. And every day of our lives depend upon it. We have to be willing to realize that we have that freedom. And that it's not just our ability, not just our right, but our duty to embrace that. And to be able to soar and to fly and to reach those potentials that we're supposed to. Before I request Pujya Swamiji to enlighten us with his beautiful words, I want to share a beautiful story that Bob told me. I don't know whether he's already shared it with you. Did you?
Only a few.
I love it, so I'm going to share it with everybody. Pujya Swamiji lives his life. If you ever ask him, how are you? And this is actually a suitable introduction as well. If you ever ask him, how are you? If you speak Hindi or any of the Indian languages, his answer will be must. Must means in ecstasy, in bliss. If you don't speak any of the Indian languages, he'll tell you super. And it's true. It's not just a platitude. I've had the incredible honor to see him at moments in which he should be super, like in beautiful environments and beautiful, restful, and relaxing times. as well as moments in which it is impossible to believe that anyone can be super. After having traveled dozens of hours internationally, being held up, being delayed, being hassled. And he truly is, in every moment of the day, must and super. Because that sense of self is not based on the world around him. It's based internally. And so, when Bob and Judith's group came to Rishikesh, someone must have asked him, "How are you?" And he must have said, "Super." And they had a conversation about that. And then when one of their students was sharing that with her children, she had 2 children, was telling the elder one about meeting with Pujya Swamiji and that they were going to come today to hear him speak, and that he was the one who was always super. The younger child immediately piped up and said, "I want to come too, I want to meet Superman." I love the story because it sums up so beautifully and so perfectly what he really represents to us. Not just the embodiment of the superhumanness that one can attain, but the fact that, like Superman, that superhumanness is used not for himself, but always in the service of others. Clark Kent only turned into Superman when someone needed him to. And in the same way, Pujya Swamiji's life, every minute and every moment and whatever he does, is used in the service of the world. So it's a wonderful, wonderful honor to request him to share with us words of inspiration.
मंगलम भगवान वीरो मंगलम गौतमो गणी मंगलम कुंद कुंदात्यो जयतु शासनम् मंगलम भगवान विष्णुः मंगलम गरुडध्वजः मंगलम पुंडरीकाक्षो मंगलायतनु हरिः सर्वमंगलमांगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते नारायणी नमोस्तुते नारायणी नमोस्तुते ब्रह्मा मुरारिस त्रिपुरान्तकारी भानु शशिभू मिसुतो बुधश्च गुरुश्च शुक्रः शनिराहुकेतवः सर्वे ग्रहाः शान्तिकरा भवन्तु सर्वे ग्रहाः शान्तिकरा भवन्तु सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनातु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योरमा अमृतं गमय शान्तिः unexpected. One of the beautiful, divine, and dedicated leaders of India, Sri Pujya Swamiji, respected, very dedicated, and committed to humanity, Sadhvi Bhagwati ji. Our beautiful divine souls, dear Bob and Judith, my sisters and brothers. I'm very happy to be here today. Such a beautiful place. To have a great retreat, to have a decharging, to renew and recharge yourself. Okay?
People move forward and everybody can sit down and comfortably listen.
In the picture house, people sit in the back. You can see that. But in the Divine Association, in India, there is a culture, there is a system. We come closer and closer and closer. And that's why we are here, to find that connection where we can be closed every minute and every moment. So thank you for this reminder, and everybody can sit also comfortably. As she was explaining about the divine story, about that beautiful divine child who wanted to meet a Superman. Not a Superman, but I know how to be super. When I say, all the time when people ask me, how are you? I say, super. And why not? This is your right to be super. God has given you the veto power to stay super, not only to be super, to stay super all the time. It's in your hand, and you can do it with the grace of the divine. And it can happen because I have seen. I have seen in my young age, when I was very little. I have seen in the mountains. I was given the opportunity, had a divine touch of the divine master, and was taken to the Himalayas. I was very young, very little, only 9, but there were sages, seers, with big locks of hairs, and maybe their hairs were so long, touching their ankles. They were there for ages, living in the caves in the Himalayas. One thing I noticed when I was with them, whomever I met, most of them, I say most of them because that time I could not understand, but now I understand that it's not that being in the Himalayas, being in the powerhouse of peace, which was already charged thousands of years. So many seers and sages have done so much sadhana, rigorous penance. The place itself became powerhouse, but even being next to that powerhouse, being just there in the powerhouse, not all. could say super. There were many who could say super, but not all. Even being there, just there, the place has nothing less than superness. But still, not everybody was super. Most of them were super. Whenever I ask them, how are you? Super. Super. Let us talk about who were super. Who were not super, maybe some, I'll see if I have time, why they were not super. When she said must, means always in ecstasy. In Hindi, must means there's no equal word close to that. When we translate in English, the word must has no translation in English. Must. Always in ecstasy. Always in peace, always in bliss. They had never taken ecstasy pill. Never. But they were in ecstasy. Always they could maintain that happiness. Even those times, it's not all the time is super in life. It's not all the time is juicy, happy. There are moments in life when you go through rough times, when you go through troubles and turbulences in life. When all is well, everybody is super. When all is not well, then how you can be super? That I've learned from them. Being in the jungle, I want to share with you what they did. Which Facebook they have gone through to find out who is going on what beach. Geneva beach or let me go there, be there next to Geneva beach, next to this beach or that beach. They never gone on those kind of Facebooks. What others are doing. They went through the Facebook. They also had their Facebook. It's great. The Mark has invented this. Mark? Huh? Mark. Yeah. God bless him. Great invention. Great invention. Amazing. World has changed. But those people, really, those Mahatmas, there is a marker, those are Mahatmas. They also found out there is a Facebook. There is a way that you can stay super. When you surf on that Facebook, you can stay super. And super all the time, when even things are not super. Things are not what the way we want. Things are shaky. Even those moments when things are going up and down, how you can stay calm, composed, and you don't go up and down. Things will go. God bless America. God bless share market. What is happening, what happened, and you don't know. Things happen. People saved for ages and went in a few minutes. Lost. It happens. In those moments also. They found out how to live with bare minimum and stay happy. They had it. There was a time they had it, they left. They went to the jungle. When they had it, they found they were not happy. When they left everything, they went to the jungle and they were there midst of nowhere. Nothing. I remember when I was taken to the jungle, one small shack, hut, very small. I think 5 by 6. You are lucky, you are given beautiful huts here, nice toilet, nice bath. There was nothing. One small mat, a jute mat, what you use for yoga, just like a yoga mat. But you're a comfy yoga mat. We had only jutey mat. You can't sleep even comfortably. A rough jute. One small brick. No pillow, no water bag, nothing. One set of clothes, one shawl, one towel, that's it. That's what we have for belongings, being in the jungle. Wash it, wear it, wash it. That's it. And they taught us how to live with bare minimum and stay happy. No menu for tomorrow. When you are hungry, go out, pluck something, eat. No chichi, no restaurant, no Starbucks, nothing. Nothing. And you are there. And still, they became the stars with no Starbucks. Really, they created the stars. And they have taken care of the scars of the world. Being there in the jungle, wanting nothing, having nothing, they did it. How they did it? How it happened? Even after having nothing, they were so set. And here we have so much set. But still we have a complaint. We are always upset for one reason or the other. We have complaints. And first thing they found out is in spirituality, there's no complaint. There's no grumbling, no complaining, whatever. We are happy. I remember one day when I came back from the forest, it's a tradition that you have to go door to door for alms, for food. Because there was no home for me, just keep wandering like a monk, wandering monk. Every day you are on the road. When you are sleepy, sleep under the tree, find one tree, shade is there. The farms have scorpions and snakes, your friend, no problem. They were also very friendly. Being there, I have noticed we went one day to ask for alms. The rule was 5 houses you have to go. And if they give you, okay. If they don't, move on. And next day, maybe God doesn't want, stay hungry. Five houses I went, very sarcastic. You have hands, earn money, find job. So much mockery, so much insult, and you have to bear that insult. That's why the training is there. How to be disciplined, how not to be angry, how not to hold grudges against this person. I went there and he had not given me. When you are in meditation and you come back, who was given, great. Not given, still great. Even greater. Good. Because of you, I could observe fast. Because of you people, I could observe fast. No grumbling, no complaining. And when you come back, Master will, how are you? Super. In stomach, you are feeling so much that you have to eat, you need something, but your mind should say, your intellect should say, your whole existence should say, super. That's the way you overcome your mind. They were not there to change your cells. Cells are changing. They were there to change and train and discipline your mind. When mind is trained, everything changes. Here we keep trying to change so many things around us. Keep trying to find so many around us. That if we get this, we'll be happy. If we try to be there, we'll be happy. If I have a happiness if I have a holiday in Alaska, super. Yesterday somebody was talking about Alaska. Alaska is great, super. But people, when they come back from Alaska, when that Alaskan peace and serenity can sustain with you, can stay with you, then happy day, the holiday is great. You are here for 1 week long. Great retreat. But if that retreat and the impact of that retreat, the power of that retreat and the peace of that retreat stays here and you go back, just test will be right there. She was just explaining today in the morning, test will be right there on the street when you are in the traffic jam. And maybe you'll be cursing the next car. Oh my God, I have to reach, I have to find, take a flight. The Swamis also made it very long. And now, here is a traffic jam, all peace. We have to learn when we go back how to sustain that peace, how to keep that peace together, how to have that balance there also, what you have learned here. So that was a training. When first day you are not given food, how you view yourself, how you check yourself. That's why we are here. Why you are brought to the nature? Just to check your nature, not to be with the nature. Yes, just to check your nature. Where are you? When you go back, how you can sustain this nature back there home. You can view yourself, how much you are becoming better and better or bitter and bitter. You have to check. It's not you are being with the nature, but you are here to check your nature and change your nature. That should be the power of that retreat. Now, again, next day comes, same thing. One house gave me 1 chapati, 1 bread. But you are all day hungry, no breakfast, no dinner, no snacks, no ice cream, no candy, no chocolate. It's very young, nothing. And next day again, you are asking for alms. One householder, the lady comes out, gives you the alms, 1 chapati, and you are not allowed anyway. If she gives, move on. 1 chapati. Next home, third home, fourth. Again, it happened. No bhiksha. God is testing you. There is a time. Don't curse God. When we go through rough times, bad things happen to good people, always they think, why me? I am so nice to others, never did anything wrong. Why these things happen to me? That God has nobody else? Always finds me. Why me? You know, spirituality is not complaining why me. Spirituality prepares you. God, be humble in front of the divine. Not why me. Try me. I am yours, I know. If you have given me the test, you will be. You are the one who will take through also this test. I am not going to complain. If you want me to be hungry, okay. And next day again, you go to your hut, sitting in meditation, complaining about God. I don't know what kind of God. I am baby, I am so young, left everything, came here, no food. Don't complain. Third day, again, same thing happened. Not only same thing, if there was no food available, at the same time they gave so much. In return, so much insult that person may think, why I am stuck here asking for help? Let me go back. No. That was a training. That was a discipline. Prepares you for the future, prepares you for the rest of your life. All that discipline takes you to that path where anything happens. When things are not super, you can still stay super. And third day, my master asked me, how are you? I said, super. Because if you don't say super, he said, okay, go back to the jungle again. Yeah, that was the condition. Until you become super, you can't come out of jungle. You have to stay. Either you stay or you say, I am super. What a training. What a great training. Those people being in the jungle, they were really calm, so serene, so peaceful. And that's what they shared to the world, sitting there with no expectation, with no discrimination. They just given to the world all those mantras of spiritualities. They shared that meditation. Not only they did it on their own, being there always, they chanted the mantra for the welfare of all. May all be happy. May all be healthy. May all be peaceful. May all attain perfection and peace. Sitting there, I could see, I asked them, why you are chanting for others? You don't know anybody. You have not met anybody. If you say, God made me happy, make me happy too, I can understand. Bless me, bless my life, understand. But sitting there, praying for the world, working for the whole world, they made their whole world their family, one family. And here, with few, we cannot sit, we cannot sleep, we cannot live comfortably and peacefully. We have so much grumbling, so much complaint. And they make the whole family, never met. And here, dating for 10 years. And when you meet, complaint starts. I don't know, people should keep dating or people should get married. People come to me, after 10 years of dating, they were so wonderful. The moment they got married, you are not the same. You are not the same. Then they come to us. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know what happened to her. I said, nothing happened to him or her. You happened to him. Change yourself. Change yourself. That was the training, my dear, in the jungle. So much stress management courses are going on. So many. But they were not worried about stress management. What I noticed. That's why I'm sharing with you. Good, you gave me this topic today. I was thinking something else when I was coming in. She's super. I said, okay, that is how to be super. And how they were super. It's not the stress management. It's the self-management. When you manage the self, everything is taken care of. We keep managing so much through these conferences and through these retreats. But whenever you come to the nature, just only come for one thing. How I can manage myself. Don't expect that the moment I go back home, she is going to react in a different way to me. Or she is going to be nicer to me. because I am going from retreat, or he is coming from retreat, or she is coming. No expectation. This is spirituality. The moment you expect from each other, my dear, change is not going to happen. Only person you can change in your life, you yourself. No one else can be changed. Why other person should be changed? Why not you? Why not we can say, that's why you are here, to change yourself. Those people, they train themselves, they change themselves, they discipline themselves rather than changing and disciplining others. So you need a self-management. A beautiful mantra is there, Jitam Jagat Kena Manohiyena. Who has conquered the world? Who has conquered the mind? Who has conquered himself or herself? And when you conquer yourself, when you have conquered yourself, no matter what happens, my dear, you have more, love it, enjoy it. But you have less, still be grateful to God. Okay, no problem. You want me to have less? I will have less, but not lost. But what we do, when we have less, we get lost. Immediately, we get disconnected. The first thing happens in our life, we get disassociated with God. That as God has done everything, God has betrayed. It's not God. Our disconnection from the God, because the moment you get disconnected, your battery is low. You get angry. You throw tantrums. What happens to your mobile phones, your cell phones? When your phone becomes staticky, immediately take to the charging. Charge it again. Same thing should happen to us. Whenever you feel low, whenever you feel shattered and broken, go back to the charging. Go back to the connection. That connection, they had it, that's why they were super. They were connected to Supreme. That's why they were super. They found that connection. How to stay super, not to be super only. How to stay super. And forever, they were super. Because connected to the Supreme. In life also, be number one. Nothing wrong in spirituality teaches us to stay dull, to leave job, come to Rishikesh, go to the Himalayas. I am coming from the Gufa, the caves. It's not you have to go to the caves and to the Himalayas to become spiritual. Living is not spirituality. Living with everything in a balanced way is spirituality. So those people give ways. Whenever you want to stay connected with the divine, whenever you want to be in peace all the time and you want to super in your life, they said rather than chasing others or following others, what others are doing, if others are sitting in the beach having a cup of coffee and you are surfing them on the Facebook, you are not going to be having a cup of coffee from Starbucks. You yourself have to walk. And our nature is we are always watching others. Self-management is watching yourself, strengthening yourself, disciplining yourself, mastering your mind. For that, they gave 3 things. In nutshell, you can remember when you go by. Number 1, you have learned already, you do every day. But just to give these 3 multivitamins to you. 1 in the morning, 1 during the daytime whenever is needed, and the third one before you sleep. Number 1, the multivitamin is meditation. Maintain that connection through meditation in the morning. First thing, I know you are very busy. But amazing, people who are busy, they are the one. People who are not busy, sitting somewhere in the remote, they have time. The people who are busy, those people who have time, they don't surf on the internet. And people who are very busy, they are most of the time you will see them sitting in one car. I have seen, not talking to each other, but they are talking to the world. Being in one family, in one house, under one roof. They are talking to the world through their cell, through their BlackBerry, doing texting and SMS or Twittering. I don't know what they do. So many things are coming up now. Connected to the world, but 4 of them or 2 of them living under one roof, not talking to and sending messages to each other. Hello, honey, did you have breakfast? Just go to her room. Amazing. Don't be that busy that you have to send to your honey also text. Honey will be gone and moon will be gone. This is not the way to be together. The way is to be together like you have a connection to the divine all the time. Have that connection, maintain every minute and every moment, whoever you live with. That meditation should not be there in the corner. That you created a peace corner or divine corner or any temple or any church. You go there and you are connected. That connection, when you come back, first connection should be with your honey before you take to the neighbors. Believe me, we take to the moment we come out of home, anybody meets, hello, how are you? We are so sweet. The moment we come in, start using our. No. I think let us change the patterns. Let us change our lifestyles. Solution Network, last survey, they have given 1.5 million people every day they travel through this survey, New York survey. You know what the survey says? They say 1.5 billion people, but they are not talking to each other. Everybody is so busy. Amazing. Where we are going? And those people sitting in the mountains, they were not praying for themselves. Today our prayers are changed. You know, one day I was coming from Rishikesh to New Delhi to take a flight. I was coming to America. Those drivers in Rishikesh are on the way when you come. All these mostly drivers are not educated in India. Very less training, but they know how to live life. And they write so many good lines, catchy lines behind their vehicle. And whenever there's a traffic jam, you ask the vehicle slow down. I keep reading. One of them said once, God bless upon everyone. It's great. This should be the prayer. God bestow your blessing upon everyone, but start with me. Our prayers have become so self-centered. You bless the world, great, but don't forget me. Start with me. Don't forget me, it's okay, but start with me. I should be the first. That's our problem. Life is not about me. Life is not first me. No happiness. You will lose peace. Life is about all. And that's what they did. They sitting there praying for the world. Om Sarve, the mantra I said it. I chanted the mantra. It reminds me that when we are there, we are for all. May all be happy. May all be healthy. What a great mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. Sarve Santu Niramaya. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Ma Kaschit दुःख भाग भवेत्. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Those people who have lived there for ages, those people who not only became super and stayed super, they have shared the ways. Number one, meditation. Connect to that GPS. Our GPS brought us here very safely. The direction was given, no mistake, wonderful direction. Wonderful direction. Brought us here, no problem. We didn't ask anybody. And we were here. But here also, they found out there is a system which can take you to your destination, which can take you to liberation even, which can take you to salvation. There is a GPS. They said, connect to the GPS through meditation. To me, meditation is the best medication for all agitations. Connect through that meditation to your GPS. This GPS brought us here, thanks to this GPS. But sometimes when you are in rough roads, this GPS doesn't work. They say, now, or half a mile or 10 miles, you have to be on your own. But this GPS never puts you on your own. Always stays connected. Always gives you direction. This GPS, when you make a wrong turn, then tells you, you have taken the wrong turn. And you come back. But this GPS, God's perfect system. This GPS, no charging, no batteries, no backup. This GPS, before even you take the wrong turn, tells you, don't be silly, light comes. We ignore the light is a different thing. We ignore this GPS system, the signal is up to us, but it tells us, don't be silly. Again, you promised, I will not do it. And again we do it. That's why we need meditation. We need meditation when the GPS gives us signals, gives the red light, or before red, it becomes a yellow light. You become conscious about that, what you are going to do. You don't do it again. That's why you need this meditation, that you can hear the voice clearly. Sometimes we hear very mixed voices. And then we translate those voices what we want. The way those voices come, we translate according to our wish and according to our will. What we want, what our mind wants to play, the way our mind wants to play, we justify to those voices and do it and get hit. Meditation gives you that clarity. Meditation gives you that power to listen to that GPS, or to reach you, to take you to those frequencies where you can take that signal immediately. And time comes, my dear, it's not that you have to take the signal from GPS, you become GPS. That can happen. That training. That's why, don't worry. Just be there. You just be there to connect to the divine. Let the divine find you, not you have to find divine. That can happen. Just be there with full surrender, with full devotion. I am yours. Set so many to honey. Now you are my honey. It's not that I am going to forget other honeys. You are my darling. You are mine. And he is ready to connect with any relationship. It's not, that's why I say always have that personal relationship with the divine. And maintain that relationship with the divine through that meditation. Number 2, no reaction. When you're now fully charged, your battery is charged now with this meditation. Whether 3 minutes or 30 minutes, it's not the quantity, it's the quality. It's you, how much you are there. It's not the quantity, the 3 hours a day I meditate. It's not 3 hours. How much you are there in those 3 hours makes a difference. It's the quality. Even just you close your eyes, gone. Connected, the light is on, not the darkness is on. Immediately it can happen. When the battery is charged, now the charge should work during the daytime. Things will happen. Now the time is no reaction. When you're ready to work, go for work, you will deal with people. You have to. When you're out, world is not that calm. Chaos is there. But in that chaotic place, workplace, if you are calm, believe me, you can change the workplace also. You can change people around you also. But for that, first you have to be in peace. You have to be calm. If you are not in peace, if you are in pieces, what you will share? Only pieces. But if you are in peace, what you will share, what you will exude, what you will manifest, only peace. That's why when you get this peace, that charging from that connection, now during the daytime, the time is now for your test and be ready for the test. And that test will be act, not to react. What we do, one phone call, one rude comments, and we just bust. One phone call, person is sitting in California, and you are just other end of the world. One call can make us so upset. You lose your sleep. And honey had to ask, what is happening? Why you are tossing and turning? Honey, don't ask me. I don't know what she understands. How? Oh, we just one phone call. Now, that's the moment. That's the time. Stay calm. It's okay. It's not end of the world. That's what your camp should come in between. Oh, I was there for 9 days. I was there for 7 days. Spent a lot of money. Where the charging is gone. When you are going back, there will be time when you are going to lose yourself. There will be time when you feel low in your life. In those moments, this charging, what you had here, should come up. And you will see anger will disappear. Whenever you feel angry, it means that anchoring is lost. When you are anchored, when you are grounded, always whatever will happen, you will translate in a very different way. When the anchoring is gone, everything you will translate and blame others. And you will claim you are the best, others are mess. No. Because of them this happened. No, it's okay. Any reason, who cares? It happened. When it happened, let me take a lesson from it. How to move forward. Life is not to blame others. Life is to move forward. And to move forward, your charging should start working. When your charging is on, what you will do? You will forgive first. You will forgive others. Sometimes people forgive others, but they can't forget themselves. Not forget only others. You forgive yourself. This forgiveness is healthy for yourself. When you forgive, at least your one new file is not open. The moment you hold grudges against anybody and you don't forgive, it means you have opened a new file for yourself. New file in your life has been opened and you have to take care of it sometime. It's in the system. And here no virus works. No virus or antivirus system works here. You have to go through that file yourself. You have to face it. That's why be careful when you deal with people. Don't try to open new files. There's enough to deal with. Junk. Really, so messy we are. So much junk already is in our system. But still, God is so great, so graceful. Never opens our old files. He knows. Never opens the old file. Whenever you go to church, or to the temple, or to the synagogue, never just, yeah, I know what the mess you are. Never. What the mess? Never. The moment you close your eyes, he gets corrected. He tries to forgive you. Immediately, he is there to give you. No complaint from his side. Why from our side then? So when there is a time to react, be calm, not to react. And before you react, that's where your charging should come forward. Your training of the step should come forward. There's a thought. Thought comes to slap somebody. And before you act, before you take this hand and slap somebody, there is a time, there is a space between the thought and the action. Grab that thought, grab that space, grab that time. That period even is a very minimum, but very important. Grab that space and use that space. Grab the space of discipline. This will give you discipline. And what discipline you have gone through, charging you have gone through, that space is so precious and so powerful. Grab that space. Don't hit immediately. Think. No reaction. The mantra should come now. That meditation, what you have done in the morning, should start working now. No reaction. Grab that space, grab that time, and that will train you. And slowly, gradually, if you start grabbing those spaces, one day you will see, you will have a veto in your hand. You will have a remote in your hand. The way you want to be controlled or control others, you can have it. That veto is given through this meditation, through this sadhana to you. Number 3. Is introspection. Now, meditation is done with no reaction, hold, days passed. Before you go to sleep, last touch, the final touch, give it to yourself, you give to your day before you sleep. Close your eyes and sit down and rewind your movie. Turning the TV on is great. Watch that movie for how long? Have that movie, but watching movie and then movie is on and we are gone. It should not happen. Last thing should not be the TV. Last should be our own movie. Before we sleep, we sit down and rewind our movie. See every scene from the morning, 6 o'clock you have started. See every scene of your life. Where it went wrong. What happened and why? Have the introspection. It's okay, things will be wrong. Not every day you do everything super great. If things happen, you will feel me. Oh my God. The moment you will go through this movie, immediately that dirty me, that ugly me, so ugly, so much mess is there. How I think, all the thoughts will reflect. It's okay. Don't worry. Don't keep it with you. Don't keep with you, otherwise it will hurt you. It will make you more guilty. It will make you more grumpy. Really? What to do? Have all of that. Don't worry. Have everything. Be honest to yourself. Collect everything. Be honest to every thought, whatever you have, or every action you have gone through. Your thoughts are very powerful. You have gone through them now. They are yours. And collect all of them. And end of the day, give it to the divine. Before you sleep, nil your balance sheet. There is a minus, there is plus. Nil your balance sheet and give it to God. It's yours. I'm sorry. Give me the strength. Tomorrow, I can become a better person, not a bitter person. And you will see the magic, the strength is given. When you are there with full devotion, strength is given to you. When you are there to receive, it's given to you. And next day, maybe not 10 out of 10, maybe 8 out of 10 times you will be saved. Maybe 2 times because of old habits, you will lose yourself. It's okay. It's okay, don't worry. Don't hate yourself.